All right, what's up, everybody? Give me a second. I'm just trying to figure some stuff out and what I need to put on here. Good morning. Good morning. I think we're good. I think everything's good here. All right. Good morning, Nick Brown. Good morning, Brandon White. Good morning, um, Faye. That's Nate Faye. Am I saying that name right? Thank you guys for being here. I know Matt isn't saying crypto's a scam. No, no, I've actually received. We'll get into the conversation, right? Obviously, I'm not talking about crypto as a scam. There's a question mark afterwards. Um, Meaning I don't know how people can just come out and say these type of things. Like, hey, crypto is a scam. The things that you're investing into are scams, and everybody can have their own opinion, right? They can say that crypto is not worth their time. It's not worth investing. It's a little too risky for me. But to say that things are a scam, especially something that goes from being less than $1 trillion to $3 trillion, back down to less than $1 trillion, up to 2 trillion, up to 3 trillion, up to $4 trillion, and then also seeing governments talking about it, also see different countries that are talking about it, different banks that are talking about these things. It's mind blowing to me that anybody could say, hey, you know what, this is a scam, you know. Good morning, Matt. Love these early morning live classes. Well, thank you. um, I try to get on here before everybody gets up. I feel like it's worth it. I know a lot of people even like to hear what's going on in the crypto market or hear the live stream during work or something else that they're doing, which is great. It's phenomenal, and thank you guys for listening to me. But um, obviously, the visuals as well as the audio is always the best thing that you can do, just to be able to focus on what's happening with cryptocurrency. Maybe even if you are actively investing, to know what's moving, what's not, anything that's a game changer play, and all of that. So, um, yeah, just stay away from pump fun. What's pump fun? Is it a new position that's pumping? I saw something recently in the top. I think it's the top 100, or it might be the top 500, because crypto or coin market cap changed a lot of things up. Guys, if you could make sure you hit the like button. We got 43 people here. I would like to get up to, I don't know, 20 likes or so. Half what the concurrent viewers are. If we can get close to the concurrent viewers, I would take that as well. So feel free to hit that like button if you can. It does help out the channel and helps out growth and all that stuff. Also, if you guys want to check out my link for BTCC, we're closing in on the end of this campaign that's here. You can get a 10% deposit bonus when you specifically use my link, no matter what the time frame is. It doesn't have to be within this 2 weeks. However, within this 2 weeks, you'll get something special on top of all of the extra stuff, or at least the opportunity to have something special. Um, on top of the 10% deposit bonus, extra bonuses, 40% lower trading fees, and the ability to trade, 500x leverage. There's a giveaway going on of 1,500 USDT split between three winners. So $500, 500 USDT, is going to go to three people during this time or right after this time frame. So September 2nd to September 16th. If you signed up with my link during this time, you make a trade or a trade between this time frame. Um, you can be eligible to receive the $500 USDT. And I'm not like, uh, you know, trying to say like, oh, everybody needs to sign up or anything like that. But if you guys want to, it honestly is a really good platform. I can go through using that platform. Um, but the last time that people signed up, or last time there was a giveaway of 250 USDT, um, only 9 people signed up, deposited, and traded, meaning that you have more than a you had more than a 20% chance to win that one, 30% chance potentially to win this one, right? Um, yeah, or 10% chance per person. Technically, I guess it would be a little bit, no, it would be more than that. It would be 30%. So that's phenomenal odds. Also, anybody that signs up register to receive $100 USDT coupon issued the next business day. So again, this is a good platform. Let me go ahead and bring up mine. This is a good platform to where I have some leverage trades that are through, some that are positive, some that are negative. Um, I I have 11% down for H bar. I have 317% up for OKB. 28% increase for Terra Luna Classic, 32% increase for ADA, 253%, 488%. So yeah, I got some good moves that are happening here, and I'll honestly buy more and invest more as time goes on. So yeah, feel free to check out BTCC. Link is in the chat. But yeah, hit the like button. We got 37 people that are here, and we'll definitely get into what's going on today and what the conversation is all about. Why do we have to sell like dollar cost average down? Why is the fee higher when you sell more at a time? For what? Why is the fee higher for when you sell more at a time? Clickbait. I mean, I'm just going with the conversation that's happening majority in my comments, right? You have some people that are very negative, and I don't know if that's you. It might be. I would have to go back and check. But there are people that are very negative, and whenever I mention the comments or talk about these conversations that people have in the comments, not even conversations because nobody's communicating with them, but these things that people say in the comments that, oh, crypto is a scam, don't get into it. Okay, let's talk about it, right? Anytime that I mention it, I'm not calling crypto a scam, but I am mentioning the question, is crypto a scam, right? Um, and the answer to that is no, right? It's definitely not a scam. And you can go and, you know, look everywhere and you could say, yes, every place is, has, not saying full of scams, but every place has something to where they're trying to scam you. There are bank scams. There are um, uh, Super Bowl advertisement scams, right? Or scams. There are a lot of different scams that people have that are out there. It depends on the person that's developing that thing. Um, so cryptocurrency is not immune to this, right? You're going to see um, some scams that people make and they pop up. However, calling the entire crypto market a scam or something that is a top 100 cryptocurrency a scam, I mean, you're not going to see that. It cost me $80 to sell $500. I'm not happy about that. It cost you $80 to sell $500 on what platform? Or do you mean like in MetaMask? I know before um I had Ethereum and I had $900 worth of Ethereum and it was going to cost me $900 to sell my $900 worth of Ethereum, which is crazy. I don't know what the fees are right now, and I don't know if that's what you're talking about or if you're talking about a different platform. Pump Fund is a site where anyone can make a coin for little to nothing, and people buy it, uh, but they sell off most of the supply. or pool liquidity. So it's basically just a place where people do pump and dumps. That sounds horrible. Bought some more bone at these levels. I see a 10x minimum coming. Also added some Luna. So you're saying bone has a 10x minimum? I don't know. I'm struggling with um, um, where bone stands because I mean it has 91% of the supply that is out there. It's just I feel like the hype with not saying like the hype with Shiba Inu is gone, but I think any hype that's going to happen within the Shiba Inu ecosystem is going to all pump to SHIB. Yes, you'll probably see some movement for Bone at certain lows, whatever those lows are, in my opinion. But it's always tough to look and say the ecosystem. People believe in that ecosystem, right? You still see some millions of dollars that are going into it, but it's nowhere near the level that it was at, um, I guess years ago, let's say. Because Bone is currently sitting at 16 cents, $36 million market cap, which honestly, at some of these lows, if you want to believe in some of these plays, you can, right? But at some of these lows, if you see if you see it take off to a $360 million market cap, that's fully doable for a meme coin project, right? So that's fully doable, and people can definitely get behind it, and then you could see more of a gain because it's at a low level. So um, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna get there. It's just not something that I've decided to invest into. All of a sudden now I'm starving. I typically don't eat in the morning, and all of a sudden I'm so hungry. Your thoughts on Ethereum Classic, ETC? I think it's a real with a real previous all-time high. Uh, think it will think it with real previous all-time high. Uh, so ETC, Ethereum Classic. I haven't looked at this in a while, but um, it currently sits at a 3.17 billion dollar market cap. I want to look at all history and show where those prices were. $117 was the high there. Market cap sat at a $13 billion market cap. Yeah, I mean, you're saying like you can see it get to the previous all-time high. Yeah, I can see it get to the previous all-time high, if not further than that, for Ethereum Classic. I've had Ethereum Classic in the past. I made a little bit of short-term money on Ethereum Classic. It was never meant for me, especially to be a long-term move. But you see the fluctuation. You can make money short-term. You can also make some money long-term as you see it grow. Now, I haven't like really dove into how far it will go utility wise, um, but I'm sure there are people that can educate me on that at least. It was more for short term when I did invest into it. But yeah, there's a lot of upside. I mean, only a $13 billion market cap, only a multi $10 billion market cap. Yeah, I think you can easily get there. Let's talk about crypto being a scam. We got 53 people that are here. It's been 15 minutes. I appreciate you guys for coming in here. Anybody that's joining the morning live streams, I appreciate you a lot. Now, I've received a lot of comments personally saying that, hey, you shouldn't be talking about cryptocurrency. Why are you mentioning crypto? And I've seen less and less comedians come on stage and say, crypto is a scam, and less people that are talking about, oh, you invested in a Bitcoin, that's why you lost all your money. Now they're saying, um, you know, some people are still coming on and going, oh, you put all your money into cryptocurrency, meaning like they'll say specific things. So say like hock to a coin. They'll say Yeezy money at the moment. They'll talk about things that have decreased a lot that a lot of people know about, right? And while some of those or some of the projects that are there, some of the popular projects have scam like tendencies, it doesn't mean the entire crypto market is a scam. So when I see in my comments, crypto is a scam, don't invest into this, nobody believe what this guy is talking about, things like that. It just, I can understand you having your own opinion about cryptocurrency. Like, hey, I've seen some scams in crypto, so be careful, right? Like that. But to classify Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, ADA, AVAX, all of these top cryptocurrencies with top utility that you can have within this sector, it just doesn't make sense, right? So that's just to me. But um, to give you an AI overview, crypto itself is not a scam, but it is a speculative and volatile asset class that is used for many fraudulent schemes. The phase or the phrase crypto is a scam refers to the high number of fraudulent projects, the risk of losing all invested money, and association with criminal activity. These issues stem partly from the relative lack of regulation and technical complexity of the space, which can make it hard for users to distinguish legitimate projects from scams. So I hate that it has developed into this where crypto is overall is considered as a scam rather than the different things that are being created within there, right? Um, so for people that are saying, "Hey, crypto is a scam," they're going, "Oh, you invest into Bitcoin, you're investing into scams now? Like you invested into Ethereum, you're investing into scams now?" No, that's not the case. We're investing into something that can have some real world use that can be heavily talked about, heavily utilized in banking, in governments, in businesses, and a lot of other places. Factors contributing to crypto's reputation, numerous and sophisticated scams. A significant portion of cryptocurrency's market is plagued by frauds, bad actors, exploits, the technology, or sorry, technology's complexity, and the fear of missing out, FOMO, to run various schemes. Common sense, or sorry, common common scams include um, pig butchering schemes. I've never heard of that. Scams built trusting relationships, um, often through social media and dating apps, to lure victims into fake high yield investment platforms that eventually steal all their funds. Rug pulls. The creators of cryptocurrency projects suddenly abandon it and disappear with investors' money, leaving behind a worthless asset. That's where people will pull liquidity at that point, right? They will take everything of what the entire crypto's value is, rather than the ones that um, kind of fall off if they don't have as much volume, because most meme coins and even some that have some popularity for a short period of time are based on that popularity. If that popularity goes away, like you don't see much movement in it, um, then you just have the volume that goes away. Some people at the top made money, and by at the top I mean the top prices. Some people were just like, you know what, I'm pulling out, and maybe it's a larger amount of people that pull out their gains and then leave the larger holders out. But most of the time, it's the largest holders that pull their money out fast, and then you have a reaction from the rest of the people that are invested into there. So you've seen that. Um, Ponzi and pyramid schemes. These frauds use funds from new investors to pay out early investors, creating an illusion of profitability. I've seen that. Um, Impersonation. Fraudsters pose as celebrities, government agents, and company um, support staff to trick people into sending them their cryptocurrency. So I've seen most of these things. I haven't seen the pig butchering schemes. I haven't seen that, but I've seen the rug pulls, the Ponzi and pyramid schemes, the impersonations where you saw the Elon Musk live streams, um, or whoever live streams, and I think they took those off of YouTube so that there are no scams, no issues. Um, High volatility and risk. You have lack of regulation, irreversible transactions. Um, I think this is where a lot of the conversation comes into play, especially around the irreversible transactions. For like banking, if you go about doing that and sending money or something like that, you can have reversible transactions that happen. Businesses, you can have reversible transactions that happen. Um, but for cryptocurrency, there's no, I wouldn't say no regulation, but there's very little regulation and little insurance on the money that you have. So if you have $750,000, it's very difficult for you to say, okay, this money is protected. Right now, you can look at it and go, the money is not protected, so I have to protect it in every possible way that I can. Do not show anything that I need to show. Do not give anybody numbers or anything that they do not need to know. Make sure you are close to your chest with everything. It doesn't matter, who you believe is your friend or who's not your friend. It doesn't matter who you think is your family and who's not your family. What matters is that you protect it, right? If you have a ledger wallet and you're like, oh, you know what? Someone comes over your house and you're like, yeah, this is my ledger wallet and it's got the information in here. I love these things. And you show them where it is, there's a chance they could take it, right? They never know how much is on there. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. It could be millions of dollars. And if that's the case, you don't show people that stuff. You have to be very close to your chest. For um, banking, sometimes it's a different story where you can show them, hey, this is how much money I have, or your investment platform. Hey, this is how much money I have. This is how much I've been able to make. Here's the percentages, all that stuff. But if you show people a lot of this stuff when it's not fully regulated and how you can have some sort of insurance like you do with FDIC, um, it, you're putting yourself at risk and your money at risk. So that's why you should never do that. So definitely irreversible transactions. Um, just about to put some spare 20K into Algo. Easy 10x back, all time high. Yeah, I haven't checked out Algo in a while. I think I have. Like this cat. Um, Come here. Hey, come here. Trying to pick you up. I showed you guys Spencer. This is Olivia. Hey, don't get upset. She has her claws. Don't get upset. This is Olivia. Let them see your face. All right, if you want to get down, you can get down. You're not gonna climb up here. Oh, there you go. All right. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, I haven't checked out Algo in a while. It's definitely been a minute. And it's one of the plays, I think that's one of the plays that I bought, way back when. Currently sits at a $2 billion market cap. And I guess I still have some over in my Kraken wallet, but it's like the test that I did for a lot of, I guess, lower cryptos, and then through some of the money that I gained into upper tier or higher tier cryptocurrencies. So yeah, but Algo stands at 92% down, almost 93% down from the high that we saw here of 315. I believe they had less supply at those moments, but you did see a decrease down to um, 6 cents, 7 cents in 2020 before decreasing or increasing back up to $2.10, but then decreasing down to 23 cents. Let's go ahead and look at that by market cap. So the highest market cap that we saw is about a $13 billion market cap. And where it stands right now is a $2 billion market cap. I think it would have been great to find some of these lows of a $1 billion market cap, but still where it stands, I think there definitely is a lot of upside to where it is right now. I can't remember where or how far I bought. I would love to be able to log into Kraken right now, but I don't even know if I know the password to anything. So let me see. That's not right. I think that was right. See if I can sign in with my authentication. Do I have that? Kraken. There we go. Because I think I bought at a really low level, but I only bought like $20 worth. So it should be at an increase from where it was at the lowest possible level. Let me go to my portfolio. And let me bring that up. So yeah, I have algo. I have 100 algo sitting over here. I guess I didn't buy at the lowest level. My average buy price was 10 cents. So it was half of where it is right now. It's only worth $24. Honestly, I would love to have more. I haven't had, I haven't owned algo or had algo in a very, very long time because I made a little bit of money from it. I ended up sending it somewhere else from Coinbase. Um, and I don't know what I did with those funds. I think I might have bought one of my top plays now. It might have been crypto.com or CRO Kronos at the moment. But yeah, I'll have to get more algo because I feel like it does have a lot of upside, up to that $13 billion level or even further than that. I feel like it should be worth a lot more than that and currently sits at 52 by market cap. So it's a top 10 cryptocurrency, way away from the all-time high. Um, but yeah, the all-time low was 8 cents. Would have loved to have bought at some of these levels of 11 cents, but it's still low compared to previous levels here. I don't know if I have any money to invest right now, or maybe I do. I should, and then look at that maybe a year out and see what moves it's making then. But yeah, we got 63 people here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, again, check out my link for BTCC down below. The link is in the chat. Sorry about the attitude, man. I just got a little excited about the fee. From where? What fee from? I'm still trying to figure out what platform it was. I think crypto buys. I think crypto buys is correct with algo. I was going to invest 20K into Vault Inu 2 years ago, and glad I did not. Yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of a problem with Vault. Hey, there were so many people that were reaching out to me, and they were just like, "Hey, you need to talk about Vault Inu. You need to do this or Vault 2 or what." I was just like, I don't see with the amount of like people that when you talked about that project, so many people would jump on it, right? So many people would be like, or so many bots would come through your chat and it would just be too much. Like, and I was like, that's a huge red flag. And that's just me, right? It may work for others, but it was just a red flag for me. How do you feel about coins rebranding? I've been looking into MakerDAO rebranding to Sky, and um, so yeah, I'm okay with rebrandings as long as they have a legitimate plan, or they have a something in front of you that's like, this is where this can go investment wise. This is what this is going to do later on. This is what this is going to be used for, right? That's kind of what I like to see. But if it's just a rebranding to, um, because crypto.com had a rebranding, right? Crypto.com went from crypto.com to Chronos. And I I like that rebranding. So I'm not against them at all. I just want to see them rebrand for good reason. That makes sense. Is ISO 222. Awesome project. Yeah, I have to probably dive back into it. I feel like it's a play that I should own a lot more of. Um, Especially where I started. I wanted the dollar cost average into it because I was just doing it for the APY, and honestly, I would have been able to collect so much from 2020 to from 2020 to now. I would have been able to collect so much by just continuing the dollar cost average in. Yes, I did have it at a level of a dollar, which meant that bringing it all the way down here, I could have had, hundreds of thousands of Algorand in my possession, but I didn't. How do you feel about? Oh, I read that. I'm a believer in the SUI meme coin narrative. A lot of upside potential, and just generally the SUI ecosystem. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you believe in that. Have you had luck with that at all? It's not something that you're selling short term or making moves short term. You're looking for the the FOMO within those the meme coins, the SUI ecosystem. I don't know why this is not in my watch list, because this should have been a part of my first watch list. Maybe I took it out. Just enjoying the IPs. Okay. Um, recover recovery don't miss it, lads. Still very cheap. Privacy. It's new gold. What's new gold? Um, I'll go most underrated layer one. PLI plugin from XDC, Oracle, and Real World Asset. All right, let's see what's happening in the market here today. We'll keep an eye on algorithm, or sorry, Algorand. But currently, the market cap is sitting at a $3.86 trillion market cap overall for cryptocurrency. Altcoin season is back down to 55, still within like kind of neutral, being within that being within that 50 to 60 range. um, but I was a little confused yesterday because I made a video about kind of altcoin season, and seeing that altcoin season was sitting at 57 when you saw Bitcoin still remain pretty dominant, and you're not really seeing Ethereum pick up in stealing the dominance. You're not seeing XRP make moves. You're not seeing anything like that. Today, it's a different story. You're seeing XRP that's up 3%, which is great. Solana that's up 3%. Dogecoin is up 7.5%. Some cryptocurrencies or altcoins that are up a lot more percentage wise. Um, but then Bitcoin is slightly under that, right? Ethereum, yes, Ethereum is under Bitcoin in gains for the last 24 hours. But if you look at the last 7 days, it's been up for the last 7 days by about 2% versus the Ethereum being down by 3.4% here. BNB is up by 0.5%. Cardano up by 2.39%. 7% for 8% for hype because it has the hype. XLM is up by 3%. Avalanche is up by 3% as well. HBAR 1.4%. I just want to see everything move. Right? We've all been asking for this for a very long time. Like altcoin season, for that to take off. We've been asking for this. We want to see it for sure. And we haven't really, we've had glimpses, right? We've had XRP run, we've had Jasmy coin make moves and then come back. We've had Ethereum move up to basically all-time highs and create a new all-time high. But we want to see something further than that, not just get to all-time highs, right? I don't want XRP to just get to a $3.83, a $3.84 level. I want it to get to a $4 level, a $5 level. I want it to surpass those all-time highs that we've seen. Ethereum, I don't want it to get to $5,000. I want it to break $5,000, $6, $7, $8, $9,000, right? Get to the levels where it can compete with Bitcoin. XRP, get to the levels to where it can compete with Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's what we all want to see. But we haven't seen that yet because altcoin season hasn't happened. Now, some may argue and say altcoin season is not going to happen. I don't agree with that. I think we will see an altcoin season. I think it will be a heavy altcoin season. It will be utility run, utility based, to where majority of the utility projects are running the most, market cap wise, percentage wise, maybe some others, meme coins and stuff. Second tier projects and what they would, classify them as. But yeah, I mean, the market looks okay, especially giving people time to invest. Definitely a lot of time to make moves in some of these plays. Because I think when you look at the top 100, like we just saw with Algo, I think that's a great play. But know that, Avalanche is still at a good price. To know that Kronos still at a decent price, even though it's $8.6 billion market cap. Litecoin, still at a decent price for where it can go. So many things are still at a great price. And I'm looking at them as opportunities. And I think other people should as well. But most people just see, oh, Bitcoin's at 111 or 112,000. I don't want to be a part of this, a part of the crypto market, because Bitcoin may end up reversing, being at that $100,000 plus mark. Which still, it's phenomenal to see Bitcoin at $100,000, because I definitely remember when it was below or sub 20,000, more, not recently, but when it was at those lows of like 16, 17,000, and I wish I had money to invest at those points. If I had the money that I have today at those levels, I would have invested more into Bitcoin, just because it's going to give me more in the end by owning 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 Bitcoin, right? But I don't have that money, or I didn't have that money. So I had to make whatever investments I can make. And, those investments came with Jasmy. Those investments came with XRP. Those investments came with Terra Luna Classic and lower altcoins. Let's see, some things that are up, I guess, in the top. Is this the top 100, or is this things that are just moving overall? It doesn't tell me that it's through like the top 100. Because this is I guess it is, because this is an $867 million market cap. MYX Finance is up by 160% in the last 24 hours, about 300% in the last 7 days. I don't know what this is, but when I saw it start to move, I was a little bit afraid of it because of that circulating supply, and I still am, right? I'm even though it's moving like this, I'm not going to be that person that invests into this because the fully diluted value is a lot lower than, or sorry, a higher market cap than this. Meaning, can you see it stay at those levels? Can you see it be valuable at those levels? And obviously, it's not showing that right now because it's at less of a market cap than what the fully diluted value would be. But 161%, it's up to $4.40. It has a total of 1 billion supply that is there with 197 million in circulating supply. Now I don't know if they've burned off everything or made this the rest of it not available. That could always be an opportunity or option. But you're seeing $386 million worth of volume out of the $868 million market cap, meaning you have a 44% volume to market cap ratio. Fully unlocked market cap, it says it's 862 million. So something must be going on with the total supply that's there, because this is the full market cap, which they have fully diluted value is 4.4 billion, 4.5 billion if you wanted to round up. So definitely a huge discrepancy between the two, meaning that you could potentially have, adding of all that supply, bringing it down to from a $4.4 billion market cap down to an $880 million market cap, which is still a high market cap. It just won't be at this price. It'll be at, if I wanted to round up this number and just say, it'll basically be at $1 instead of $4 at those levels. So just be wary of what's coming across as something that's absolutely pumping and is worth so much more, because it could be worth so much less very, very quickly. I always like to point that out. But it is up 161%. WorldCoin is up 25%. There's 2 billion coins in circulation, which I believe they have more that's in total. It's 10 billion for total. You're looking at 20% of the supply that's out there. When I first saw this, I believe it was only 10% of the supply that was out there. So they added basically a whole nother, like, all of the supply. They doubled the circulating supply basically. Let's continue. Bonk. You have Bonk that's up by 9%, Dogecoin up by 7%, Hype that's up by 7.5%, Fartcoin also up by 7%. Was anybody invest? Let's check an early investor poll of that. So it's up. What is this? 1,000,000% from the beginning. Looking at a 30% of a penny level. Was anybody invested into Fartcoin early on? Because like you find these plays, and I would love to have been invested in some of these plays like really, really early on that people start to believe in, because it's at a $21 million market cap, and it doesn't only get to a or even less than that, a $3 million market cap. It doesn't only get to a $30 million market cap, giving you a 10x. It gets to a $300 million market cap and then also doubles that. So you're not only looking at a 10x there, you're looking at a 100x and then double that. You're looking at a 200x in that. That's absolutely phenomenal. And that's only up to this point. Like it got to a high point of $2 billion. You're talking about potentially looking at a 1000x in your investment. Like I want to be a part of some of these. I think the most that I've been able to gain is I've gained 30,000% on or 70,000% on a $43 investment, I would love to have these. And I think that's where kind of investing into things that have a lot more potential and a lot more hype behind them. But how do you find that hype when the hype isn't there? Because there's so many projects that are being created, you know? That's where the scam narrative comes into play. You think this is the next biggest thing because you get that same sense of it, you get that same information from someone else that's involved with it or likes it or something like that. And then all it takes is one. That's very true. For what? Are you talking about crypto buys? Crypto buys. You said all it takes is one cryptocurrency to. Oh, you're talking to someone else. Um, but yeah, I would love to find one of those plays. But I've been invested into many plays that haven't turned into what this has turned into. Right. And you're talking about a short period of time from 2024, the end of 2024 to the end of 2025, right? Or even from 2024 um, to the beginning of 2025. And I don't know what the prices were and if all of the supply was out there, but if it was, which it has to be, right? So yeah, you were looking at a $2 price point at that level from a short period of time from here, looking at a massive gain all the way up to that $2 level. And I understand the people that decided to get out from 2 billion and push it all the way back down to 26 or 21 cents, but then see it increase again back up to $1.60, $1.50, and back down to 78 cents. So it's, I don't know. There's all of the supplies out there. You could be seeing a lot more growth than just where it is here today, depending on the different things that are happening with it. But it's available on Coinbase, an S tier exchange. It's available on tier one exchanges. So it may make sense as a meme coin. But again, you're taking the risk, which brings back up the narrative of like crypto being a scam, right? Because you're taking that risk into a project that doesn't have utility, right? That's not about utility at all. Even though that's what we're preaching about cryptocurrency is that it does have utility, but we're buying into Altcoin because we want those gains. So it's difficult. It's a difficult issue. Guys, again, if you want to check out my link for BTCC, the link is in the chat. You guys can sign up for a 10% deposit bonus on your first deposit. Extra bonuses up to $10,055, 40% lower trading fees, and a 500x leverage you can trade up at. You can trade all the way down to a 2x leverage. I have a couple of trades that are sitting in my BTCC account. Maybe I'll have to go with a quant trade. I do have some money in there. I'll have to do that. But I have a couple of trades in there. I have HBAR, I have OKB, I have Terra Luna Classic. You know, I have ADA, I have auction, I have compound, all of that stuff. I think I'm gonna put through a trade for Quant. I think Quant's a good play, but then I could also trade for something else. I think Algo was one of those, right? Algo is not a bad play, but if I decided to do that, I would have to do it at a way, I would say way lower level. We're looking back to July or June of 2025. This is, I wouldn't say it's super risky. And I'd probably do a 3x. If I was going to do it, I would do a 3x leverage. But I could also put through Quant at a much higher leverage. But I could also do, I think I would do this at a 3x leverage, not at a 20x leverage, at a 3x leverage. Or I could do a higher X leverage with a lower amount of money. It's essentially doing the same thing, And if it does come back lower than where it stands, like if I do a 10x leverage with $100, yeah, because if I did $500 at a 3x leverage, it'd be 1,500. If I did a 15x leverage, or I do a 10x leverage with a little bit more, no, not a little bit more money. I want to do it with a little bit less money. It's a 15x leverage, which then would be, it drops down a small percentage because we're very close to those lows there of 22. I just don't want it to break below 22. I think that's, I would say if I could put through something, it would be 21. So I'm looking for 10%. I don't want it to drop by 10%, so it would have to be a 10x leverage. Have to be a 10x leverage at with $100, and that would give me $1,000 that I'm investing with, while also setting up a leverage trade. So this kind of gives me, I would say, a little bit of an entry point, even though it can come back. And if it does come back, then I have a little bit of wiggle room within there. So I'll do 10%, which will be the $100. It would come down to 21. That would be the point to where it does get liquidated, which is well below that point. I probably wanted to do a little bit more, a little bit higher of a leverage. I can't change the leverage. That sucks. All right. Anyways, I put through just put through a trade. If you guys want to, start trading on BTCC, feel free to check out the link down below or in the description in the chat for this platform. Also, if you get you have a chance to win $500 USDT. There's a giveaway going on right now for 2 weeks from September 2nd to September 16th. Sign up, deposit, trade, and you have a chance to win 500 USDT. There is a high chance, way higher chance than with winning this than winning the lottery, any lottery, than even going down the street and saying, hey, can I have $1? There's a better chance for you to win this than getting $1 from somebody walking down the street. Just to let you know, like, there's not going to be that many people that sign up using my link. I wonder where we're at right now. Let me go back here. Let me find it. Yesterday I went to my third WNBA game. I was very excited, very happy about that. Where am I at? Oh, there we go. Unpin. Yeah, it was really fun with that because me and Harper went to the Fever versus the Mystic. This is where I got the WNBA sweatshirt or hoodie. Harper already has an orange one. I would love to have the orange one, but wherever I wanted to get it, they were sold out. So what was I gonna say? Yeah, this is our first time sitting like courtside. We were right on the floor and kind of right underneath the basket on the floor. I feel like that might be the best place to be. I feel like you get all the scoring. As long as you're kind of off to the side a little bit, you're closer to the Fever bench, right? I'm right there. I see, Caitlin Clark. She was literally talking to one of the fans behind me. One of the fans for the Mystic behind me that was constantly badgering her. He was talking about Coach Caitlin. He was like, "Oh, Coach Caitlin, you're not doing a good job. Look at the scoreboard. We're up by like 3 points or something." And then by like closer to the end of the game, they were the Fever were up by 20 points, and Caitlin was talking to him. I was like, "Why are you giving him any of your time? Why is he living? Why are you he living in your head rent free? Why is he why is he there? Um, but anyways, she was talking to him. She was like, "You're quiet. I don't hear you anymore." And then they were up by 30. She was like, "Where's your voice at? Are you gonna say anything?" And it was pretty funny because again, at first I was looking at her like we were both me and Harper were both looking at her, and we thought that she was talking to us because he was right behind us, and I was like, I didn't say anything, and I have on a Fever jersey. I don't know if you know that, but it wasn't me. It was the guy behind. It was just funny. But yeah, it was a great experience. I think if you could find the ability to get floor seats in any scenario, whether it's college or um, WNBA or NBA, like it's an experience like no other. Obviously, it's just expensive, but um, it was really really fun, and I think I want to find a way to get some floor seats at least one time per season. Once Philly gets a WNBA team in 2030, I can't wait to be a massive supporter of that. Because I know Reading's not getting a team. That'd be great, but no, we don't have the market for that. What was I gonna do? I was gonna check how many people have signed up recently. If I have a time frame. Let's see reports in the last 7 days. I just want to let you know in the last 7 days there have been four people that have been registered users. Four people. Users making their first deposits, one. Like it's not a lot of people that decide to sign because I mean, obviously I've been talking about it for a year, so most of the people that watch me are already signed up for it. If you are new, let's say you are a brand new person, if you sign up for BTCC today, sign up, deposit, trade, you have the ability to win an extra 500 USDT, as well as the register USDT that you get issued the next day, the next business day. So there's been one user that have signed up, made their first deposit, and completed a trade. So they are guaranteed, as long as it stays like this. If there's only three people that do that, they everybody that signs up and makes a trade or deposits and makes a trade will win the $500 USDT. That's crazy to give yourself a 100% chance to win $500 is phenomenal. I would take that every day. Can I re sign up and get an extra $500? I would love that. All right, let me. You said Quant is king. Someone said Quant is a trash play. I don't think that's a trash play. Polygon sadly down. I haven't seen or looked at Polygon in a while. We have to look at it a little bit closer. Hey guys, we got 42 people that are here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, I'm looking to make some play. I'm honestly might end up doing a little bit heavier of a play in Quant. So someone said Quant is a trash play. I don't agree with that. I think Quant is a great play. Um, Especially for the future. I know Fartcoin. We're looking at Fartcoin. You could see some of these gains within it. I'm trying to see where it stands right now because I know it's up a little bit. But if you zoom out, This has been at $1.25. I mean, it would have to be definitely more of a I don't know. I can't say that I can't see it, but you never know. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Look at the day chart. I guess we don't have that information. This is the farthest that we go out for BTCC. um, so seeing this at a high of 170 versus being lower. I wish I had a little bit more information to show me the lower low points. You know what I mean? I'm the only person I know that buys crypto. Um, I say something about it and I get laughs. No, I totally understand where you're coming from. I can't say I'm the only person I know that buys crypto because I've gotten some people into the market and they are excited about it. Right? My father-in-law buys cryptocurrency. Because we've talked about it in different plays that I really like and holding on for the long term. Um, my brother-in-law loves cryptocurrency, or at least has made some decent money from cryptocurrency. I can't say that he loves it, but he's invested into some good plays, right? He has, a lot of the plays that I have: Jasmy, XRP, um, CRO. I don't think he dollar cost averaged down into CRO, which is kind of a mistake, but he has some of kind of a lot of things, and it's good, right? You're seeing the growth, you're seeing the movement, you're a part of the markets, and as you see the markets grow, you become a bigger and bigger part of that, especially if you let it sit there and you let it continue to grow. um, but when it comes to friend groups, you know my best friend doesn't invest into cryptocurrency. My A lot of my good friends don't invest into crypto. My brothers don't invest into cryptocurrency. I mean, Eddie does. So he typically does invest into some cryptocurrency. But um, my sister doesn't, my mom doesn't, my dad doesn't. Like, I don't know. And very, it's very true that you don't see many of, especially if you're heavily into crypto, like you're really into it. When you start to talk about something a lot, people don't take notice until you've already made a crazy amount of money, or a lot of money. And then they ask, how can they make the same amount? And it's like, oh, they don't want to learn about crypto or invest in crypto. They just want you to invest the money for them. There are people that come up to me all the time, family members that are like, if I give you $4,000, could you make me more money? I'm like, I'm sure I can. They're like, all right, well, I'll give you $4,000. I'm like, I said I can. I didn't say I will. Like, that's a different story. If I'm gonna make money, double $4,000, I'm gonna do it for myself. Like, I'm not gonna do it for you, invest for you, and they're like, oh, well, you know what? I'll give you a percentage of it. You can get 25% of that money. And I'm like, while that does seem like an enticing offer to be able to take others' money and invest that and take a percentage of that, um, I don't want to do that for you. I don't want to risk your money because then I have to give you updates on your money. And if it's for some reason, if it has different pressure, I think differently, right? Um, I know I can make money with my own money because it's not that I don't care about it, it's that I have a risk tolerance in what I want to risk. They don't necessarily have that risk tolerance. If they're like, oh, I invested $4,000 and I lost 1,000, now they're like, let's pull my money out, rather than let's continue to invest with our strategy and see it through. They don't want to see it through. They just want more money than what they came in with. And yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm not going to be like, hey, I'll make money for you. I will I will talk to you about some cryptocurrency plays, and then you can do your own research and see if you like it. I can direct you to a platform to where you can invest in the cryptocurrency. Um, I can do a lot of things to help you, but I'm not going to invest the money for you, for sure. I'll be the one laughing later on. I mean, there's a lot of people, I guess me, that can I can be laughing right now. It's always funny, right? Again, I saw we watch a lot of comedians, and I remember watching um, Hassan Minhaj, which we're going to go see him again. I remember watching him, and he was talking about cryptocurrency, and I think there was like a whole bit on it where he said, "Who lost money with cryptocurrency?" And then he went to like the front row and talked to some people, and he was like, "Oh, you're a computer." Um, I forget what his title was, but let's just say computer person, right? You're a computer person, and you didn't mine Bitcoin early on. They were like, you didn't own any Bitcoin. You didn't lose any money with Bitcoin. And this was when I think Bitcoin might have been at like 40 or 50,000. And I'm like, I guess you can say that, from the highs of 60,000 and 70,000, you could say that. Um, but it hasn't really broken out again. And then all of a sudden, after that, it did, right? To 60, to 70, to 80, to 90, 100, 100,000, 110, 120, right? Up to those levels. But, anyways, we see comedians that are always questioning cryptocurrency, and it's like, you lost money in crypto for sure, and making a joke out of it, which is funny because you need to make a joke out of it. Um, but then I'm sitting here like they don't understand. While it is funny and people do lose money in cryptocurrency because they make the wrong decisions, doesn't mean that the entire market is a wrong decision. So um, I can't wait to see the the jokes kind of shift in how much money they've made in cryptocurrency, because I know for sure some of these people like um, Martin Lawrence is heavy in crypto from what I've seen his responses on Twitter and different cryptocurrencies that he buys and stuff like that. I went to his comedy special um, 7 months ago or something, and he's I guess making money from cryptocurrency. Others are invested in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many others. So so what's happening? I'm so I know these early morning live streams. Um, we don't really get as many viewers because cryptocurrency market is not really making like heavy moves. If it was, and you saw like XRP running, for sure, I would, you know, talk about that and put that in the title and everything there. And maybe I'll do another live stream, or we can make videos on what's going on with XRP, because I do have some things to talk about. Um, Related to XRP, related to Jasmy coin. Somebody asked about Jasmy earlier today. Um, they said, "What's happening with Jasmy coin?" And honestly, there's not much news to what's going on with Jasmy coin. Like it's not to say that Jasmy is not a great play and I'm not invested into it still and I don't believe in it. No, I still have 1 million Jasmy. I still have 100,000 that's sitting in my Forever wallet. Um, to which I still need to take out my CRO from that Forever wallet, because I have CRO that's staked. I'm also dealing with an issue with CRO, and we'll talk about that. But there's not much that's going on with Jasmy coin at the moment. Like there's not really any news. You're really just waiting on altcoin season to happen, and the FOMO that comes into a lot of these popular plays, and then you're also waiting for maybe a little bit of news, but we don't really have much. Um, it's not falling off the face of the earth. We still see a lot of movement, a lot of money that goes in there, in and out of there. But it's just disappointing for a lot of people because they want to see Jasmy move now. But you have to look back to the past, and Jasmy was going months, if not years, uh, without any major movement, and all of a sudden things picked up and everybody and their mom were talking about it. Jasmy Coin is a great play. Um, I think what did suck is the fact that some of the YouTubers that got on board late, ended up buying 100,000, 200,000, a million Jasmy Coin at a higher level, right? They bought at 2 cents, and now that they're down on their Jasmy Coin, they're not talking about it. And it's because if they talk about it and how much they've lost, it makes it look like they made a bad move, which I wouldn't say that they did for the long term. They can obviously see the growth within Jasmy Coin, but for the short term, you could have seen that you would have multiple opportunities to come back down to 1.5 cents, 1.3 cents, to then have a million at $13,000 rather than a million at 20 plus $1,000. So um, when I first got started in Jasmy Coin when it was at 40% of a penny, and then I reinvested, or actually 50% of a penny. Then I invested more at 30% of a penny to get me to an average of 40% of a penny. Um, I was I was hype about that, right? Because I was off and on gaining and losing money, and I knew that as it does grow, by each penny I gain $10,000, right? So I knew and still know that it has a lot of potential involved with it. And even at the current stage, I don't want to raise my cost basis, but I'm very tempted to do so, where I can get an extra million Jasmy Coin and see those benefits as we move along. See it get up to a level of $1. Because it gets to a level of $1 right now, I have $1 million in my possession. Obviously, I'm going to make moves as time goes on, but if I have 2 million coins, I can now make those moves with 1 million and then let the rest, kind of happen as we officially get up to $1. I have 1 million that's left. You know what I mean? Like that would be insane. So I'm thinking about that. If we find a way or see it, get down to, a level below $1, for sure I'll take $10,000 and I will, or right below $10,000 and buy another million and raise my cost basis. Because I'm not in this position for a low cost basis to say that I went from this to this. Even though it would be great, I'm not in that for that. But one position I am in, somebody mentioned it, is Terra Luna Classic. You said XRP is moving. It's up by 4%. It is up, closing in on a $3 price point, which is fantastic. But somebody talked about Terra Luna Classic. I still like Terra Luna Classic. I still have it. I still have 55 million Terra Luna Classic, and I think it's going a lot further than a ton of people think. A lot of people have given up on Terra Luna Classic. I'm not one of those people. I invested $43 into that. And while it sounds like no risk at all, it wasn't any risk, right? I was looking to risk a lot more, and my MetaMask and my bank wouldn't allow me to do it, because they were like, "This is too risky. You have to get approval." And by that time, it already rose in price. So I still like Terra Luna Classic. Still have all my Terra Luna Classic, which is over on Kraken. Let me show you guys. Blah, blah, blah. So it's over on Kraken here, where I have 54, 54 million. I have 30,000 Caspa, which is sitting at a value of $2,462 here. I think I still have the other Caspa that's over on, what's that? What's that platform? Uphold. Let me check. I think I still have it over here, or maybe I don't. I might have moved it. I think I moved it. Yeah, I'm not logged in, so it's gonna have to get me to log in. It's whatever. Um, did I end up making a move? I was gonna buy something else. I think I was gonna buy like Farcoin or something. And look, it's already running. It went from 76 to 80. Could have made some decent moves. It looks like a lot of things are making moves. Let me see if I can get in Quant really quick, because I think I wanted to get in Quant for like I think I wanted to get in there for a longer term investment. I know some people may say that this is just not it. I see some decent potential within it, and I just want to have some long term plays. Let's see. So I wanted to do a simple 3x leverage with everything that I have in there. Simple 3x, not a 5x, a 3x leverage with all the marbles. Boom. And then do open the long. And we'll see how that happens. I know 3x leverage will be 33%. We'll just do 33%. If it goes down by 33%, then we lose everything that we invested into that play, which is perfectly fine. I'm always looking for opportunities. I'm always looking for simple leverage plays that have a lot of potential. And honestly, I should have probably held back a little bit, because just in case algo doesn't really work out, which it could, it might not. And we might see it skyrocket. You never know. But just in case algo doesn't work out, at a 10x leverage with $100. We'll see. We'll see. But either way, if it doesn't, I still have a stop loss. Know that I have a stop loss on every single play that I make. If you guys are going to get involved with BTCC, make sure you guys set a stop loss every single time. You know, there are some where you can have an isolated leverage, which means that you can, like, it'll sell when it'll only lose what you invest, basically. So it'll sell immediately after that point. Once you get to a liquidation point, it won't dig into the rest of your account. Make sure that you set a stop loss. I recommend it with every play, because not all of them have the ability to isolated leverage it. Um, I lost some money when I started, but I've done really well lately. And now that I understand more and put time into learning more, that's all you need. You know, people don't understand that, where they're like, I need to make the same money that Matt makes, when you're not investing the same level of money. And you may think that you are, but what you're doing is, I'll invest, $250 or $1,000 at a 2x leverage, but then you'll decide to, do, um, I don't know, $100 at a 20x leverage, meaning that you're still investing the $2,000, but you're risking a lot more, right? You're risking $100, which maybe a little bit more valuable for you. Not saying it's you, but that person. And while $100, and I'm looking to do a 2x leverage, you would do the 2x leverage as well. It would be $200, except you're doing a 10x leverage, which is, or 20x leverage, which is $2,000. And your ability to be wrong is a lot lower. Meaning that it could be a 1%, 2% loss, and you lose everything that you put in there. So I don't know. I feel like, um, if you understand how to leverage trade, if you understand how to trade short term, if you understand what's going on in the market, how to read charts, what Ethereum is doing, what XRP is doing, what BNB is doing, and all of that, you get to be able to make a lot more money because you understand it more. Just educate yourself. If you're going and working in a field, um, a certain field. It could be business, it could be welding or whatever. You need education. You need to learn how to do it. It takes you time. It may take you years, but then people won't put any effort to learn the markets, to learn how to trade, to learn how to short term invest or long term invest. Um, they won't put in that effort. It's so little that you need to understand. I know it may seem confusing because you didn't come from that life. Maybe you didn't come from business and you have a, um, working with your hands background, a blue collar worker background, but you can put in the effort to learn a little bit at a time. There are books out there that can teach you so much about just learning the basics. Um, Audiobooks, if you feel like you aren't really the strongest reader. I listen to audiobooks all the time, especially if I'm, maybe working out or something. I want to get a little bit of education rather than just listening to music. I will do that. If I want to learn something, I will do that. And while I'm at work and I'm doing something that's standard and I don't need to have conversation with anybody, or I don't need to have my brain at 100 miles per hour looking at something or doing something, I will listen to an audiobook, or would have listened to an audiobook. And it would teach me about um, the basics of investments, the advanced trading techniques of day trading, whatever, right? It's something that I would do for myself to educate myself. And I think you guys should do the same. If I had to recommend any book when it comes to day trading, and not saying that you have to get into day trading, it's just I think day trading books get you to understand the market a little bit better, or at least even understand um, technical analysis a little bit better. If I had to recommend any books, it would be How to Day Trade for a Living by I forget his last name. It's like Aziz. Um, Breaking that down, audiobook, great, right? Listen to it multiple times, learn all about it. The actual book, also great. I have the actual book. I don't think I cracked it open because I listened to the audiobook like 3 times. But those will teach you a lot within the markets. Um, and then even understanding money, even I forget what other books. I bought most of my 180K Jasmy at 33% of a penny, or 33.3 cents in late November. Didn't sell when $2,000 in profit in early December, so I'm holding with an average of 1.9 cents. That's great. So you found a way to average down from that 3.3 cent level. There are people that, especially some YouTubers that I know, I'm not going to name names, but there are some YouTubers that bought 100,000, 200,000, a million Jasmy coin at a higher price, of 2.5 cents, of 3 cents, of 4 cents and 5 cents. And they were like, at the 5 cent level, they were like, I finally reached 200,000, or I finally reached a million Jasmy coin. And seeing that, I'm not saying that they couldn't or shouldn't believe in it above that point. It's just you're kind of teaching the wrong thing. As a person that's on here, I will never tell anybody to chase a position. I will never go, oh, I invested so much into this. It took me from 3 cents to 5 cents to get 2 million Jasmy coin, or to get 3 million Jasmy coin, or whatever. Because at that point, I'm teaching you continue to dollar cost average up. I don't think you should ever do that. If you truly believe in something, you can buy something to hold it and know that it's going to go a lot higher than that. However, if you truly believe in something, you can do it an opposite way or a different way, where you believe in it, you buy maybe 10%, 20% of what you wanted to buy at those levels. And then when you see it retrace from those gains, from that movement, you can buy more and average in, average down, continue to get more and more, rather than buy a million at 5 cents. If you buy a million at 5 cents, that's $50,000. And now that million is worth, was it 14 or 15, 14 or $15,000? So you would have went from 50 down to 15. You have to, and while no matter what, you can't get away from that. If you decide to invest at a high and you average in, it would be very difficult for you to get away from losing that money from the start. But you can at least give yourself a larger chance to succeed, right? Be a part of it just to be a part of it, average in to lower that cost and gather more Jasmy or gather more of whatever. So I'm glad that you were able to average down to 1.9 cents because that's a good level to be at. Lower than 2 cents um, is a good level to be at. I stay away from MetaMask and the like. I'm not a fan of the gas fees. I mean, so for certain things in Ethereum, yes, you can understand. For things that are like BNB and Chronos Chain and Solana and all that, you're not really paying that much in any fees. Honestly, it can be cheaper, wildly cheaper than exchanging on an exchange. Just to let you know, um, depending how much you're moving, it could be wildly cheaper. We're talking about one transaction that can cost you pennies or even just a dollar versus you having $100,000 transaction on Coinbase and they charge you $1,000 or something like that, which could be wild. Or on crypto.com or something. So, depending how much you're sending, you want to go, you know, directly on chain and trade directly on chain. That would be phenomenal for most cases. For um, for Ethereum, it may be hit or miss depending on where the gas fees are at the moment. But yeah, I try and trade on MetaMask, and the only reason I go back to Coinbase and Crypto.com and Kraken is to be able to transact to my bank account directly. Um, MetaMask can't really do that well at the moment. I think they have an instance to where you can do it and withdraw, but it's like I think it's still in beta form, if I'm not mistaken. Are you going to be on every morning, Matt? I will try to be on as much as I can, but sometimes I can't. It really all depends. At one point, I was doing like I was working out in the morning, and now I'm still working out in the morning. It's just later in the morning. So now I'm deciding to get on live stream early. And I would love to get on live stream and continue throughout the entire day, like do a um, from 5 a.m., not even an entire day, maybe just 5 hours from 5 a.m. to like um, to 10 a.m. I would love to be able to do that. The problem is that I have to put the kids on the bus for school. Um, and or no, I don't even have to put the kids on the bus anymore. I have to take them to school. So it takes some time, which means I can't stay live. And I don't want to have two live streams um like happen like back to back. So like I finish my live stream at 7 a.m. and then I have to get back on live stream at 9 a.m. Right? I have 2 hours in between that I can't just stay on for 2 hours, but I would love to have the ability to be 5 hours, go 5 hours straight or something. But it really all depends. I'll try to be on as much as I can. I plan to be on every morning at 5 a.m., but it also depends what time I go to sleep the night before. Sorry, I meant 2.6 average. My conversion to USD was wrong. Well, hopefully you can continue to average down. I think you're still averaging down from the 3.3 cent level is always good. Um, but that's good to be able to see that you did average down. Would love to see you continue to average down, especially with it at 1.4 cents, I believe Jasmy coin is. Let me check. It's just right now you probably have um you said majority of your 180 you bought at the 3.3 cent level, and you would have to physically invest more into Jasmy coin at these levels in order to lower it fast enough. um but yeah, I think averaging it down, getting it under 2 cents would be amazing. But still, at 2.6 cents, it's not horrible. It's not the worst thing ever. You know that there's upside and there's room above it, especially for the long term. I just always like to get to a point where I can be profitable sooner. You know, for me, when I see it at a level like say for CRO, I was buying in at the 5 cent mark consistently. The issue is that I already had 100,000 while it was at the 13 cent mark, and I continued to buy more and averaging in, trying to buy so much more at 5 cents to get me on an average of lower than 10 cents. Um, at one point when I was at 100,000, because CRO I started buying CRO when it was at 30 cents or so. It increased to 40 cents. I bought more there. Um, but 50 cents, I kind of let it go. But then as it started to, fall down, I started to buy more, right? At a level of 25 cents, I bought more. At a level of um, 10 cents, I decided to buy more. And I just consistently started to invest. And then when I got to 5 cents, I kind of went ham to buy a lot, just to bring my cost basis from that 30 to 40 cent cost basis down to uh, it was lower than 10 cents at one point. And then I reinvested more money at like 13 cents. So kind of increased my cost basis, which is something I didn't want to do. Um, but I did anyways because I needed to put the money somewhere. Um, and honestly, I should have put it in the XRP at that point. That would have been great. But uh, I still made out on the deal. I'm still looking great on CRO right now. But the point is I was able to lower my cost basis, and then I rose it again. But it's sitting at a cost basis of like 11 to 12 cents. Thoughts on Caspa? I like Caspa. I have it. I have 30,000 of it. I honestly would get more if I could. I was Wait, I will summarize what crypto is. It is pure scam. People with money bring out coins to rug pull, and what others are trying to do is get some kind of entry and get out before rug happens. You're welcome. So I'll talk about that. That is not true at all. There are instances to where you will find scam like projects for sure with anything that you go in. You can have a business and there are scam businesses. There are scam banks. There are scam telethon calls, right? There are scam charities. There are scam every single type of industry. So there are always going to be scams in anything that you go in because people are going to try and steal money from you as best as they possibly can, right? So crypto is not immune to this. You see some of the scams that are made, and yes, you do see rug pulls that are in there. But to classify all cryptocurrencies as that is ridiculous. You know, things like Bitcoin, not scams, not rug pulls. You see bear markets, you see bull markets, and you have the ability to invest, you have the ability to sell. You have people that have become millionaires and even billionaires from Bitcoin themselves. Ethereum, same thing. You have people that have become millionaires and billionaires from Ethereum and where that started. XRP, you have growth there looking at hundreds of billions of dollars, or $100 billion, or the high point, it was $200 billion. Same thing goes for BNB, it goes for AVAX, it goes for ADA, and many others that have actual utility in the market. Now, when we stray away from that utility, that's where you start to get into the uncertainty, and that uncertainty leads to scams that are built up. So while somebody's investing into Dogecoin, that is a meme coin, and the primary reason to invest into that is to gain money, you also have this, which is, let's call it scam coin, that its primary thing that it's trying to pitch you is that you are going to make money from it. So kind of, hey, this is similar to Dogecoin. You're going to make money from this. When in reality, they're looking to pull the rug on you and take all of your money. But how do you tell the difference? That's where a lot of the research comes into play. But even while you do a lot of research, there's still issues that you could have with having some of those projects fall out from underneath you. And that's why you have to manage your risk well. So crypto is for sure not a scam. However, there are scam projects that are created in the market. Matt is the chillest guy on YouTube that talks about crypto. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that a lot. You know, I try to be chill. I don't try and have too much energy and um, giving y'all overhype or trying to sell overhype. I don't care about that. Um, so I appreciate that, Eric. Most crypto YouTubers scream in your face. It's annoying. Yeah, I try not to do that either. I'm very, very chill on live streams and on videos. There are some that I get a little bit of, um, I get a little bit elevated. And the reason being is because, you know, how some people react or the comments they come across, the disrespect. I don't like other people being disrespected as well as me being disrespected. So um, sometimes that'll come across that way, but most of the time I'm very, very, very chill. What do you think about Loop Ring? I'm a fan of Loop Ring. I still have, honestly, I would buy more Loop Ring, and I think it's at a lower price than where I bought. Let me refresh this. I'll duplicate it. And then we'll go to Loop Ring. You know, I don't think I'm logged into Coinbase. Yeah, Loop Ring is sitting at about 9 cents, which is down all time 17%. Not bad for all time. We're talking about back to 2017. It's only down 17%. You would love to see it increase at those points, but that means it still has a lot of upside there. But in the last day, it's slightly up by 0.33%. You're seeing about $17 million worth of volume out of the $134 million market cap. It shows um, the level of um, attention and interest that people have within it, the popularity. You're looking at about 13% volume to market cap ratio. That's good. 170,000 holders. Again, I don't know how much I have. I wish that I can easily sign in. Give me a second. Let me make sure I'm not showing something I need to show. I'm going to get more choices. What? Use password instead. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Um, I'll use the Authenticator app. See, that's what we'll do. Give me a second. I want to see how much I have. Whenever I could find Coinbase, that'd be great. There we go. Tired. All right. Let me see. I have I have 20,000 loop ring, which I'm down 30% on this play. So I could potentially buy more because I like loop ring and I think it's going to go a lot further than where it stands. So where it is right now is about 10 cents.
Brandon White donated $1.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you for super chat.
You and Oscar Ramos introduced me to crypto.
That's great. I'm glad you have people that have helped you out, along the way, and to give you that introduction, and the fact that you take it upon yourself to continue to research. That's what it matters, or that's what matters. Um, but yeah, it's good that you have people that helped you out back in 2021. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like I had a stronger presence as time went on. I think in 2020 to um to 2021, I had a stronger presence in crypto. I don't think I had a huge presence. So I haven't been in crypto for a very long time. Um, but I've been able to experience the peak of a bull run, the bear market, and to see it recover from that bear market. That's what I've been able to experience. So I know there's some people out there that have experienced a lot more than I have, and I can't wait to experience that more or further. But you have to understand, and what some people don't understand is that crypto is at a different spot than it ever has been. We have ETFs, we have more acceptance, we have traditionalists that are getting involved to it, we have big businesses that are invested into crypto, we have products that are being bought by cryptocurrency, you have conversations in government about crypto, you have regulation conversations that are happening right now, you have partnerships that are going on with cryptocurrency projects and companies and founders and exchanges and all of these things. You have reserves that are being created. You have treasuries that are being created. You have a lot of stuff that's going on right now in cryptocurrency that people don't understand how big those things are going to be. So I'm excited for that. I agree that meme coins have a kind of structure or that kind of structure. Other projects can be a store of value. Yeah. So there's different types of things that they could have. They could have a store of value. You can have different proofs, right? Proof of work, proof of stake within there. You can have massive utility within them, and the fact that um, you know people tend to blend utility projects and meme coin projects together um, really shows me how much they don't know about cryptocurrency because the value is definitely going to come from the ones that can be used. That's where the value has come historically in everything. Um, if you talk about the dollar, you talk about change, you talk about money, how you value that, how you utilize that, how people accept it, how much people want it is the reason why you're going to be able to use it. Right? If you have a coin that literally has no value or you feel like it has no value, but then someone says, I will give you this chicken for that coin, they now find value in that coin. And whatever you value as the chicken, right? If the chicken's going to give you so much, that's basically what it costs, right? If it's 50 cents, that's what it costs for you to buy a chicken at that point. Now, can you find the same value from a chicken in, I don't know, a mule or um, uh, farming supplies or something like that, right? Then you kind of value that and go, what's the comparison? Well, this isn't as valuable as the chicken, but it might be half the value. So 25 cents. So you start finding that value within there. And for cryptocurrency, you do the same thing, right? You find that value based on what people want to pay for it and what people want to utilize it for. So there's two things. But for a meme coin, it's all about what people want to pay for it, not about what they want to utilize it for. For a utility project, it's what people want to pay for it as well as what people want to use it for. Nice to have a live YouTube at this time. Um, how long have you been in crypto? Oh, I just explained that. So I've only been in crypto for, let's say it's 5 years at this point, because the end of 2020. So I've been able to see a bear market, a bull market, um, or sorry, a bull market, a bear market, and then the start and continuation of a bull market to this day. Any big events happening this week that will affect crypto? Not that I know of, but maybe. There's always some surprise things that can transpire, but I don't believe so. And even if, I'm not really about just seeing the effect short term in cryptocurrency. I'm more about the effect long term, um, and where things go, because I've been throughout my investment life, which started in 2015. Yeah, which thoroughly started in 2015. I was investing before that, after high school, um, right after high school. So somewhere around 2010, 2011, um, is where I really started to get any type of interest in that side of things. But I didn't know it for sure. But then throughout, once I got into college, once I went to Thaddeus Stevens Technical College, it's a technical college. Um, Once I went to technology college, once I went to Thaddeus Stevens Tech, um, I I liked it. I liked the idea of investing, but I still didn't fully explore it. I know my one business instructor. I can't remember. I think it might have been economics, microeconomics, macroeconomics. I don't remember what it was, but I I know for sure he's the one that got me into investing. Really broke down investing platforms for me. And I think he started with saying that he used Scott Trade, which was more of an influence. So I use Scott Trade, which was, I forget how much it was, but it was expensive. It was like might have been 7.95 a trade, meaning that um, you would basically spend like $15, $16 on every in and out trade that you would make. So if you wanted to day trade, it was a lot more expensive to do it that way, because it was $16 per trade, per in and out that you would do. Um, and knowing that I was going to get in and then get out by the end of the day, it was a little bit tough. Um, but yeah, that was my first introduction to trading. And then I also had an introduction to cryptocurrency in 2014, but I didn't do anything, right? I believe Bitcoin was like making some moves at those times, but I didn't do anything in it. And throughout that time, all the way until about 2020, I didn't do anything, which was, 5 years or so, 6 years from 2014 to 2020. So I wish I would have made a move. I wish I would have had the money to do so. But even if I did, I don't think I would have held Bitcoin for that long. If I saw Bitcoin that would have been worth, one Bitcoin was worth $60,000, I would have sold it. If I saw one Bitcoin was worth $5,000 at those times, I would have sold it, because there, throughout that entire time, I was working a 9 to 5 job, as a accounts payable billing clerk, then moved up to staff or payroll and accounts payable, um, then transitioned into a staff accountant role, then moved into a junior accountant role, then moved into junior accountant, then staff accountant, then moved into a senior accountant role, then senior financial analyst, and now I don't work a 9 to 5 anymore. So it was a lot of research that I've done over the years to how to understand charts, and then now kind of applying that in this manner. I'm starting to realize, or not starting to realize, I realized early on that cryptocurrency does not react the same as as the stock market, businesses. And I never wanted to apply the same strategy. It would not work in cryptocurrency for the stock market. But then going back to the stock market, it makes it difficult to day trade over there because now you have your mindset changed in how things react and utilizing patterns or not. So yeah. All right, guys. It is 7 a.m. I gotta go and get Matt, bro. I sold all my Chronos. Was that a good decision? I mean, it depends, right? I'm not gonna say it was a bad decision. If you made money from it and you sold all your Chronos at these levels, you may still have an opportunity to see that grow and like to see it see it fall down, and then you could possibly buy back in. But it really does all depend. Like if you gain money from it, it's never a bad decision to accept gains. It's just maybe sometimes you have a premature decision, meaning that you were willing to accept a lot lower of a gain, which is perfectly fine. I'm not going to say it's bad. Um, I'm not going to say it's bad for you to sell your CRO. If you made a gain, then that's great. Um, but what I like to do with my investments is, if I see a gain that I really, really like, I will find, um, the place to where I can sell a portion of it rather than sell all of it. But if you sell your Chronos, you have to live with that decision. And if you find another investment, find another investment. But if you sold it, um, live with the decision that you made. Don't be upset and don't harp over any type of gains that you see there, because you sold for a reason and you would have sold no matter what at these prices for any cryptocurrency, right? That's what you wanted to see and that's what you're willing to accept. For me, it's all about what you haven't seen, right? I've seen thousands of dollars, I've seen tens of thousands of dollars, I've seen hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gains. So I am comfortable seeing, a lot of the levels that I'm seeing now and the movement that I'm seeing now. While others, like Erica, who has not seen it, um, she would be like, "Oh, you're down $10,000. I think you should just sell everything." And it's like, that's you don't understand the markets like I do and what we've been able to see within our accounts. So I bought it after watching your videos. Yeah, I gain, but I will hop in on a dip. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. As long as you have some sort of presence within there, I feel like it's going to be good. But just know that, oh, it looks like Loopring is increasing a little bit. Just know that when you make a decision, you have to live with that decision that you have. I've been there plenty of times. Currently, I'm unemployed, so I can only afford to invest $100 a month of DCA on Jasmy. Would take me 20 months or so to bring it down to 2 cents. So my best option is to hope the price increases. Yeah, I mean, well, the price is going to be. This is the thing. It's whatever. Like, what is your tolerance on holding, right? Because if your tolerance on holding is like, I need to only hold for 5 months, or if you can hold for a very long time, then you're going to see those gains eventually. It's just about dealing with the being down at the moment. I had to deal with being down on virtually every position that I owned for a long period of time, even into the bottom of the bear market. I keep buying Algorand. Hopefully, it will follow the same as XRP. I think Algorand will be worth a decent amount. Algorand is a strong project. I agree. Dip time is almost over. Yeah. All right, guys. It's 7 o'clock. I have to go get these kids ready for school, and I have to go get these kids ready for school, and you know, hopefully they have a good day and everything. But yeah, I won't be back on live stream wise, but I will probably make some videos and put out some videos for different cryptocurrencies, whether it's XRP or Jasmy coin or CRO or something like that. Um, and we'll talk about it a lot more. But I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you check out my link for BTCC down below if you guys want to trade or enter for the USDT giveaway. All you have to do is sign up, deposit, trade between this time frame, and you have the ability to enter for the 3 chances to win 500 USDT. And again, this is how many people that have that have registered. We have 4 people that have registered in the past week, right? Which is, I can't remember what that was. I guess it was September 1st to September 8th. In the past week, we've seen 4 people that have registered. We have 1 person that has made a first deposit and 1 person that has completed their first trade. Meaning that right now, this person is guaranteed to win $500 USDT because there's only 1 person that has done everything that they needed to do in order to do this giveaway or be a part of this giveaway. So again, if you want to be a part of that, feel free to check out the link that's in the chat. As well as if you guys want the extra stuff, 10% deposit bonus, extra bonuses up to $10,055, 40% lower trading fees, all of that stuff. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.